Alrighty guys, welcome to your 8th FL Studio tutorial, and in this video what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning how to tweak the settings to achieve our own custom note, whatever sound we're going for. So the first thing I want to mention is, again, make sure you have your 3x oscillator open from the last tutorial. And let's go ahead and go over these knobs right now because we already went over these buttons. Basically, the different buttons or the different shape of the sound waves makes a different sounding sound or different sounding note. So the first knob right here is this volume knob. And of course, we already learned that that turns the volume up for the different octaves. Now, by default, it doesn't have a volume button on oscillator 1, and that's because if we don't need it. There's other way to adjust the sounds, and this pretty much ensures that we at least have something, coming from our note. We don't want to program a note that you can't even hear. So basically, you only have volume on oscillator 2 and oscillator 3. So if you want to include different octaves, lower octaves, that is how you do that. So for example, right now we have the note that sounds like this. And if we want to include oscillator 2, just turn that up halfway. Oscillator 3. So as you can see, our note is getting lower because we're adding lower octaves. So let me just go ahead and add 50% oscillator 2. And I'll keep oscillator 3 down all the way. I don't want my note that low. Now, actually, I'm going to turn them all down, and it's going to help me explain this tutorial a little bit more. So the pan, of course, we can probably already guess what that does. Since it's at 50% right now, you're going to hear it perfectly, and maybe you're wearing headphones, you're going to hear it perfectly in both ears evenly. If you have computer speakers, then you're either going to hear it on the left or right. So, and you can also have one pan in one direction and another pan in a different direction. So now oscillator 1 is panning to the right and oscillator 2 is panning to the left. Well, I'll go ahead and set that back up to 50. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now, this is where we're back at. So, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about the CRS and Fine. What this does is it actually changes the tone of your note. Both of these knobs pretty much change the tone of your note. Now the difference between these knobs is that this changes it in large increments and this fine tunes it. So let me go ahead and play this. I'm going to hold down the less than key on my keyboard so the note continuously plays. Kind of sounds like aliens trying to dial Earth. Aliens, life form. Hell. Alright, so anyways, I'm having too much fun with that. So as you can see, the tone changes in large increments. Now I'm going to do it with fine. So again, if you want the tone to change by a lot, then use the chorus. If you want to fine tune it, then go ahead and press the fine. So that's pretty much what everything does. Oscillator 1, 2, and 3. Let's see what we didn't cover. We covered all these knobs and the different buttons, and I think we're good to go. Of course, there are a lot more things up here, but either they're self-explanatory or I'll explain them whenever we get to that. But right now, let's go ahead and say that, alright. Alright, my note is sounding exactly how I want it to. Actually, let me get a decent sounding note. Alright, so I like that note. So now I want to add it to my pattern. So let me play this pattern right now.
We need a beat. We need a beat.
Alright, so say that I want to play this right here, right here, right here, and like that. So now, dun dun, well, it's going to say dun 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 dun, or something like that. So let's go ahead and play it and listen to our awesome sound.
We need a beat. We need a beat.
What the heck? Something is messed up. So let me go ahead and solo this and check it out. Alright, definitely not the sound I was going for. Right now it just sounds like and that, like I said, is not exactly what we wanted. So in order to fix that, what we can do is we can actually close this channel settings and we have to select this channel, and you do that with the button on the right. So select it and press the piano roll, or excuse me, the keyboard editor, or I don't know. This is a freaking button right here. So what this does is it opens up pretty much your keyboard. Now remember, the keyboard is basically the note of each little hit. So right now, since we have everything playing on this right here, which is C5 or your middle C, what it's going to sound like is just someone pressing that button on the piano and holding it down like C, 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 C. But that's not what we want. So let's go ahead and change this by changing this first one to, we'll keep that at C. And on this second one, let's do something like this. Keep that one at C, and let me just go. Alright, so that's going to sound decent, I guess. So now, once we change the note itself, or the tone, it's going to sound less monotonous, and it's going to sound like someone is actually playing the piano. So let's go ahead and play this biatch. And actually, I want to change that right there. Alright, so that sounds pretty good to me, or good enough. You know, it's just a freaking tutorial. I'm not trying to make a, the world's greatest song here. But now, let's just go ahead and play this biatch.
We need a beat. We need a beat.
So again, it's probably not your favorite song, but that I just wanted to discuss because a lot of people, whenever they are working with a 3 times oscillator and they try to add the notes like this, then it just sounds like no matter how they got their note to sound. So again, if you bring up the keyboard editor, that is how you get different sounding notes with your own custom tone. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to make this sound even better, and also some other awesome tricks that are going to help your music production. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, yada yada, tomato, tomato. I'll see ya.